people, we are back. This is a new episode of Is This a Pickleball Podcast? I am your host, Matthew K. Pickleball. I am joined by my esteemed colleague, Mr. Wilson. Mr. Wilson, how are you doing today?
Hey, Matt. I'm doing good. Not too bad. Got to play a little pickleball this morning, so I'm a happy camper. How about you?
Ooh, I'm doing pretty okay. I look at the YouTube analytics and it seems people don't care how we're doing. So I'm just gonna chug along. And what I'm really excited about is I'm finally wrapping up. I think this will be on the channel in a couple days. My review of the J4K and the J4K Pro. This was the Honolulu paddle that was instantly memeified as the pizza peel paddle. And I'm pretty sure mine will be the first review on this paddle. I think everyone skipped it, and I was really surprised by these. I definitely think they're worth checking out. So make sure you subscribe to the channel because there will be a giveaway for one of these, and it is a fun paddle. So be on the lookout for that review. And if you're not subscribed and you don't even want that paddle, subscribe anyway because it helps us, it helps the channel. And we have some other giveaways, so check those videos out. We have a giveaway for one of Franklin's new paddles. We've got one for a Pakle paddle, Standout Kiwi Labs, and probably by the time this gets posted, I think we'll still have the Yola Pro 4 giveaway running, just because I'm a tad bit behind. So go check those videos out. You could win yourself a nice paddle. We just gave away an 11624 Power Vapor. These giveaways do happen. They do take some work, but they happen. I like free paddles. I know other people like free paddles, so I'm gonna keep doing it as long as I can. And so thank you everyone for participating. And Wilson,
You know,
that's
if you get those Honolulu paddle reviews out, you might actually, for once, be the first at something in this paddle reviewing space, huh?
yes, for the J4K, I will be the first, probably the only one. But yeah, they're interesting paddles. But yes, folks, if you don't know this, Matthew K. Pickleball is always the reviewer that comes out with his video a month after everyone else. So, it just takes me longer to play, I guess. I don't know. But I'm excited for that. And then be on the lookout on the channel because in some upcoming videos, we will be giving away a Dinkaroo net, practice net. And Wilson, we're going to be talking about that in a bit, as well as one of the very, very talked about, very excited release. I don't know if that's how you would phrase that, but lots of folks are excited for the NextGen Honolulu paddles coming out. And there will be a giveaway on the channel. Make sure you subscribe. And Wilson, I know we've been talking about those paddles quite a bit on the podcast, but if you've noticed, folks, I haven't posted recently. Lots of stuff going on, including a lot of Honolulu paddle testing. And I think I might have some thoughts some other reviewers don't have. And so stick around in the pod. I'm going to be going into some real nitty gritty takes on what I think about that. It's three different lines, Honolulu's next gen paddles. I'm not talking about three different faces on the NF paddles. There are three different next gen lines that Honolulu has released and is releasing. So I'm gonna be telling you all about it, Wilson. And if you're listening, you'll be hearing it too. So stick around. And then I think that brings us right into our first segment, which is What Are We Testing Right Now, presented by our friends over at SwiftNet. And folks, if you don't know what SwiftNet is, you're behind because Wilson and I have been talking about SwiftNet for a long time, and it's basically the best portable net you can get. Am I right, Wilson? What do you think?
100%, you're right.
Do you want to say a little more?
Yeah, no, it's great. For me, the net core tension is very important for me. You don't want those flimsy nets where they'll let any drive go right through. Yeah. So the SwiftNet has an awesome net core tension. It's super light at about 17 pounds, and you can put it up by yourself in like 3 minutes. So
All
it's
right.
really nice. And
Uh,
my favorite part is that it's made out of mostly recycled material from like the aerospace industry or
yeah, that
something.
the
Yeah.
carbon fiber recycled. Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Hmm.
right, Mr. Wilson coming in with the SwiftNet factoids. Yes. No one likes that saggy net unless
Hmm.
your ball is the one that's cheating over. But we want to keep pickleball as fair as we can. So get that tight cord with the SwiftNet. And what's funny, the thing that you and I are kind of testing right now, we have talked about it. We just talked about it. It is the Dinkaroo.
Yep.
It's a little mini practice net. So very different from a SwiftNet. It's not a full size net, but I'm working on a little bit of a review for that, and you helped me out. We were playing on the sidewalk outside of the courts, getting a few dinks in, and basically, if you want a little gadget to have to kill time when you're waiting for a court at open play, the Dinkaroo is a great thing, and Wilson likes to describe it as a pop-up camping stool. And I
Yeah.
think I like that analogy, and it's really easy to put up. And yeah, I mean, were you enjoying it, Wilson, when we were hitting around?
Yeah, no, I definitely enjoy it. I've tried it with you, and I usually try it when I'm playing with like my mom when we're at the courts. One of our local courts in Alhambra, there's only 3 courts, so the wait time can be a little long sometimes. But there's a huge concrete platform or slab outside, and I would always bring my Dinkaroo, and my mom and I would like warm up. We do dinks, of course, but we can even step back and she'll do drops while I hit it back to her, and we can do hand battles and everything. You can do anything and everything. And when
Yeah.
I'm at home, I pop it up against the wall, and I use one of my foam balls, and I use that as a thinking practice.
Funnily enough, Wilson, Carbon actually released their own version of
Oh,
foam quiet balls, which I'm going to be testing out. But promo code Matthew K works over with them, and yeah, they make great gear. I'm a big fan of Carbon, so funny that you pointed that out. But yeah, these
oh,
are
that's awesome.
another option. They just released these, and so hopefully we can play with those. I love playing with the foam balls, especially with beginners that sometimes overhit and like to aim right for your eyes. It's a little easier to deal with foam balls. But I know you haven't gotten a chance to test much, but as I said earlier, I've been testing a lot on the NextGen Honolulu paddles, and I have a lot of thoughts and a lot of updates. But folks, first, please don't skip ahead. I actually have a huge favor to ask everybody watching. This is a bit personal, but a friend of ours, Dwayne, has had a serious accident, and he's someone you've probably seen in my play footage, in my reviews. He's a super nice guy, and he loves pickleball. But unfortunately, Dwayne has had a bicycle accident out here in Los Angeles, and he's suffered a serious spinal fracture that's left him paralyzed from the chest down. And so he's going to be in a wheelchair for the foreseeable future, but Dwayne is super motivated, and we're all very, very optimistic he's going to beat the odds and regain mobility. However, it's definitely going to be a long road to recovery with lots and lots of costs, and his family and him could really use some help. So, down in the description is a link to a GoFundMe to help with the mounting medical bills as well as to make his home functional with a wheelchair. So, if you can, please donate, and then also please share the GoFundMe link. You can text it to friends, you can post it on Facebook. The more people that see it, the more help we'll get his way. And in the end, pickleball is a community of people that love to have fun, that help each other grow at the courts and elsewhere. And ultimately, my favorite kind of pickleball players are folks that really want to bring kindness and joy into the world. That's what I found when I came into the game. There's a lot of difficulty in the world, and pickleball is a place where kindness and joy really comes through. And Dwayne has done that for me, for pickleball, and he's really contributed to this community. And I'm hoping we can be there for him now as well. And so, yeah, I'm going to leave that link down in the video description. Please donate if you can and share it as much as you can. And if you're not familiar with GoFundMe, it's just like a way to do a fundraiser. And this is just, there are a lot of costs that are racking up. And so, yeah, please check that out. And Wilson, maybe, I don't know, do you have anything you wanted to share about Dwayne? Maybe to poke people to go click that links? Because everyone likes listening to you more than me, Wilson. If you tell them to do something, they'll do it. Matthew K. Pickleball, he's always bossing people around. But Wilson, what do you want to share anything?
Yeah, Dwayne's an awesome guy. He's an awesome doubles partner. He's one of my few men's doubles partner that I've played with. If you go to my channel, you can actually watch us play. But yeah, it's unfortunate, unfortunate things happen to really good people, and he happened to, get into an accident. But he's a tough guy. And he seemed very optimistic. I got to see him recently, and I hope to visit him more. And Matt, maybe we can go together and hang out with him a little bit while he's recovering. But
Yes.
yeah, he's awesome. Um, and if you guys can help, please help him. If not, just at least keep him in your thoughts and prayers. And yeah, thank you for listening, guys.
Yeah, and Dwayne, if you're watching, when I see you, get ready. Now that I don't have to, if when I visit you, I won't have to worry about you spiking a ball at me, so I'll feel super safe. And then, folks, down in the comments, why don't you send some positive energy Dwayne's way? He's someone that goes 110% at whatever he does, and he's gonna face this just like he has pickleball and everything else in his life 110%. And so any words of encouragement, I'm sure he'll dig down there. And Dwayne, you're in both Wilson and my thoughts, sending positive energy your way. And yeah, hope to see you soon. And now, folks, thank you for staying. I know everyone, it clicks forward to the Honolulu updates, so I promised they are here. And so we're gonna just keep this train running. And so Honolulu's NextGen paddles. Okay, Wilson, folks are going crazy over these. The reviewers in particular. I think you know this. I love Honolulu's paddles. I think, probably as big of a fan as they have. I check out everything that they do, and basically there are three varieties of NextGen paddles that they're working on. And so initially you had the J2K Plus and the J2 TI Plus, and the recent addition to their Gen 3 line is the J2H Plus. And this paddle has sort of gotten overlooked because they dropped this and then like right after the NFs and the FC Plus came out. And so I really love this paddle. It reminds me a lot of some of the Pro 4 paddles from Yola. This is a floating core paddle. So you've got edge foam, that foam, the EVA foam all around encircling the honeycomb core. And if you love the feel of honeycomb, this is the one to look at. I really enjoy this paddle. I actually think of all the between the J2K Plus and the J2 TI Plus, and now this one, this is my favorite. I think you can do everything you want with this. But what everyone is obsessed with, and for good reason, because their next series, the NF, this paddle is notched foam, and so it's multiple kinds of foam, and Pickleball Studio described it really well. So that outer ring of foam is notched and kind of put together with the inner piece of foam core like a puzzle. Did I say puzzle? Pickleball Studio said puzzle. I really like that idea. The notch is really like, it's a puzzle piece where the outer ring of foam interlocks with the inner core, and it plays really well. It has more of a feeling of a carbon true foam, and it's not a diving board style. And according to Pickleball Medicine, they're cooked hot, so they're thermoform paddles. That's different than the true foam paddles. And he thinks that adherence, the face material to the core, it's so tight. He actually thinks there will be less chance of disbonding compared to previous generations of paddles, which that's been a worry like for a lot of honeycomb paddles. And I really thought it'd be hard for me to like a paddle more than the J2H Plus. I was very hesitant, but I played a lot with this one, and I do think this one is probably the one that lots of people are really going to like. But it's sort of like the true foam, but I think you get a little bit more you get just a little bit more all around, I feel, from this paddle. Like, I think a lot of folks that got the true foams heard the hype and were a little disappointed, especially on the power front.
How's this power compared to the H plus?
So that's where the conversation gets difficult, and I'm going to be covering that a bit in my review. It really depends how hard you swing. And so you can make this hit really hard. And I think a lot of the other reviewers, aside from me, they're pretty hard hitters with big swings. So if you have a tennis background, you're probably going to see that this hits harder than the others. But if you're someone that maybe doesn't have as big of a swing, maybe, you got spaghetti arms like me, maybe you're older, the H plus is probably going to have seem as if it has more power. Okay? And another factor that makes these feel and seem more powerful is that the sweet spot is so big. It's a very forgiving paddle. And so if you want, what I've been telling folks, if you want kind of that Pro 4, sort of that activated power on putaways, on overheads, look at the H plus. If you're wanting to have more controlled power, that firm feeling that foam gives you, look at the NF series. I've been playing mostly with this one because I'm trying to compare all the carbon fiber faces, but the J2 NFK or the Kevlar version is probably going to be, it as it sits now, plays really similarly to the carbon fiber one, but this will probably soften up. And I actually think I've already experienced it with just the few hits I've done. The Kevlar compared to carbon fiber, stretches. So we're comparing, a Kevlar bulletproof vest versus a freaking rocket ship panel, right? So one is super rigid, and one is super strong, but, absorbs more. And so as this breaks in, this is probably gonna be softer. This might become the one I prefer, but I really have spent most of my time on this one, and I have absolutely no complaints. I really like it. And then the titanium version is definitely more plush, definitely a little softer feel than the other two. And so if you want, and I'm not even sure there's another foam paddle with a Kevlar face or a titanium face. I'm racking my brain right now, but I thought I would like this one. But to be honest, Wilson, ever since I got into the Pro 4 review space, I do think my play style has gotten slightly more power focused. And
welcome to the club. Welcome to the
club. And so I am really leaning towards these personally. But this one, and I actually noticed this with the original J2K Plus and J2 Ti Plus. I initially liked the J2 Ti Plus, but as the K Plus softened, I preferred that again. But if you want plush and soft, this is the one to look at. But Wilson,
But
Honolulu,
there's more.
there's more. I know. So everyone is talking about these guys, okay? And everyone is talking about like the power. And once again, I think most of the reviewers, most of the people really hyping up the NF line have a tennis swing, have backswing. And that's like, I can totally see why they love it so much and think it's so powerful. I think most of those folks are the ones that thought Carbon True Foam was a power paddle too. So if you kind of disagreed with that, I would recommend that you take notice of this paddle, which is not being talked about nearly as much as the NF. And this is Honolulu's J2 FC Plus. Okay? And so the NF is full foam. This is also full foam, but there's no puzzle piece. It's actually a diving board design, but instead of honeycomb, it's an EPP core, so expanded polypropylene, so foam with an EVA perimeter. So like a diving board two-piece, like instead of honeycomb here, we got foam here, and then that EVA perimeter and diving board. And holy smoke, this thing hits hard. And I did not think I liked it. I thought it was too much for me. But after a little bit of playing with it, I really have found some warmth for this paddle. And I could see becoming a full banger, Wilson, with this in my bag. I'm scared. And no one's really talking about this one. And it is definitely a different style paddle for Honolulu. This thing is, I would argue, potentially its most powerful paddle that they're offering. Just how it's designed. And I believe it's a triple carbon fiber face. It's got some serious pop. It's the only one that I felt I needed to put weight for just testing. And I did use Bodhi's tungsten for anyone that wants to check out. Or actually, no, I think this is Pickleball Effects tungsten because it's not branded. So if you want some tungsten that's not branded, that's just basic black and inconspicuous, check out Pickleball Effects. He's got some good accessories. But this thing is a cannon. It's also very poppy. And I think people that were obsessed with the power paddles of last year, I'm talking like the band paddles now. Like I'm talking about the Matier, the old Ripples, the Gearbox PPE. This is the one that they're probably going to want to look at, in my opinion. I mean, it's a different shape, different style, but this thing, I think, is the winner of power for people that don't have massive swings. Like maybe like the reviewers that have big swings, maybe it's closer. But for me, who has more of a short swing, a short stroke, I definitely think the FC Plus is what's like really like the cannon. And so that's my breakdown. I reserve the right to change some of my opinions because I'm trying to get a little bit more play on the FC Plus in particular. And then in my big overview video of the NextGen lines from Honolulu, like I feel comfortable by the time I write that script, record that video, like I will have had enough time to really give each paddle like an opportunity to like represent itself. And so yeah, I'm super excited, and that video is gonna have a giveaway, so make sure you subscribe. But yeah, what do you think, Wilson? Am I gonna be a banger? What do you think is gonna happen?
I think it's always nice to have that option in your wheelhouse in case you do need to use it. So I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing at all. But what I'm curious about the new paddles, the foam cores that Honolulu is working with is of course I think there'll be break-ins, but if they'll be as significantly different or as bad as some people say as Gen 3 paddles where there are honeycomb cores
Hmm.
inside perimeter of foam, like the diving board technology.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious to see what you think about the break-in and if it's significant.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, the word on the street, what everyone is sort of agreeing on,
Hmm.
obviously time will tell, but just like how they're structurally or how they're constructed,
Hmm.
we're thinking that there won't be a crazy
Okay.
break in. And so I'm tracking what the other guys are testing because a lot of them hit way harder than me. But the notch foam in particular, which is the one most of the other reviewers are playing with,
Hmm.
there seems to be like that's it. That seems to be not going to have as much of a change as
Hmm.
Gen 3 style, which I think Honolulu is also banking on, believes in, because they're not doing that exchange program that they were doing with
That's true.
the previous plus paddles. So they seem confident in that, but it's kind of a two-edged sword because I also think that program lots of people loved, and the J2H Plus, so the oldest style of Honolulu's NextGen paddles, but with the new surface, the carbon fiber surface, like that's part of that program as well as lower price. But anyway, I'll talk about that all in the review. But yeah, break in is it's always hard to predict, but what people are getting through their breakdowns and all their X-rays, I don't know these other reviewers' medical plans. I can barely. I get double charged for my annual visit. If I ask them one question about did you notice that there is a lot of traffic on the way here, or how do I get my parking validated? That they charge me a second visit fee. So I don't know how, and I'm talking like one visit. I get two visit fees every time. Like if you ask where the bathroom is, that's like, oh, that's outside the
Another
scope of
charge.
an annual. So, but I don't know how these guys are getting all their paddles X-rayed. So they got, I don't know, they definitely don't have they have a better insurance plan than I do. But yeah, I'm excited. Durability always hard to predict. I personally never had issues with Honolulu's previous paddles, so I really don't think I will with these. But we'll see. And so yeah, that sort of brings me to the next big topic, and you're sort of already hinting at it, which is guys and the one gal that watches this podcast. Guys and gal, cores are getting weird. All right, we just talked about Honolulu's, like they're doing two different styles of foam cores plus their old one. Bro, that isn't even the weirdest. All right, so I don't know why I am like at the bottom of the male paddles to reviewers list, but I finally got the HolbrookARMA paddles to test. And I'm sure everybody knows about this, but I gotta talk about it because it's crazy. So I don't know if you know this, Wilson. Do you know about how this core is made?
Yeah, it has like different.
I'll say, don't spoil it. Don't
Oh,
spoil it. I just
okay,
want to know.
okay. Yes, yes, I do. I'm excited to hear what you think of it when we do play with it.
Yes. Wilson knows, but in case you don't, you one listener or two. So Holbrook's Arma paddles, their newest line, and it's basically like, ooh, they probably won't like this word, but a Frankenstein core. And so it's utilizing polypropylene honeycomb, okay? But it's using a wider cell core. So kind of what we talked about on the channel before with Paddletex paddles using wider cells. And we're actually going to talk about some more wide cell paddles on this pod, but we've actually done a whole podcast talking about wide cell paddles. But it's got a wide cell core here, And then sort of horseshoeing around it is another piece of polypropylene core, but with small cells. So wider cell core with small cell polypropylene core horseshoeing around it. And then it's got thick foam rings like other Gen 3 paddles. And this one, I believe, is a diving board design with the core material running down the handle. And Pickleball Studio, other folks, they've got some serious durability questions just because it's kind of Frankenstein together. And Chris's brother, you remember the guy I was giving lessons to at the Nerdy Tourney, like showing him how to hit drops and whatnot. No, just kidding. But Isaac Olson, he's a really good player and he hits hard. And apparently he already crushed one with just a few not a lot of hours on it. But I think I don't think most people hit as hard as him. So I'm excited to try these out. I'm a softer hitter. I doubt I will experience what Isaac did. But yeah, very weird core. We have not seen something like this before. And then I know folks have heard about the Diadem BluCores from everyone but Matthew K. Pickleball, and I miss the early, like they sent out a lot of old review units or early review units. I think mainly like prototypes because they were like different color faces and whatnot. And I think a lot of reviewers like kind of developed their opinions on those, and I think they might be tired of playing with the BluCores. And but I never hit. It's all right.
Those. You got that little cube of BluCore.
Oh yeah,
that's what you got when everybody
gets every day.
Paddle. You get the little cube.
This was my BluCore, but you can see here, this is not honeycomb. This is puffed out. I believe polypropylene, like I believe it's EPP, expanded polypropylene, but I'm not 100% positive about that. But this is what it is. You can see it is, focus, it is not honeycomb. It is very, very firm. I can't even squeeze it. And so they made their own full foam paddles. And this is also a diving board design with foam running down the handle. And this is what I thought Gen 4 paddles would be. Simple, right? Less things to break apart. And I appreciate that about Diadem's line. And then their face is this Kevlar CF face, which I kind of like black Kevlar. I just think it looks so cool. And then they've got a lot of shapes, a lot of thicknesses. And this one here actually is the 19 millimeter version. And this actually has a layer, I guess the 19 millimeter version does have honeycomb. Because there's a layer of Kevlar honeycomb between the two foam layers. And this is something that they did with their previous beefy 19 millimeter Warrior paddle. And so I think that's something that hasn't really been talked about. And so I'm trying to compare how the three different thicknesses of one shape. And this is the Pro shape, which is great for two-handers in my opinion. And so yeah, I'm excited. I haven't hit with a lot of Diadem paddles. I am a huge fan of their pickleball shoes. I think the more expensive pair is what I really recommend to folks. I love those. But weird core, right? They're getting weird. And then the smaller companies are getting in on the weirdness too. So GRUVN is a small company. I've actually covered their Moving GRUVN 13S paddle, which is an awesome Gen 2 standard shape paddle, on the channel before. Check that video out if you haven't. Like, that's a great paddle. They're working on solid foam paddles. This is a prototype, and they make great stuff. And so even the smaller companies are getting involved. And I did want to highlight with GRUVN, they have a freaking epic TourBag that is just really well thought out with a ton of compartments, huge fence hook, And I really appreciate that they have your little name tag slot. And yeah, they just make really good gear. GRUVN does. Not as many people know about them. I don't see much of them out here in SoCal, but check out GRUVN. And they also have some really nice looking backpacks, like some smaller profile bags. And promo code Matthew K does work with them. And they've got like a huge line. I think we've talked about their control paddles on the podcast before. But yeah, check them out. And then, Wilson, it just keeps going. The companies are not messing around. We are seeing that so many companies are just experimenting and trying crazy stuff, new stuff. So it's super exciting. It's also like very exhausting as a reviewer because these, like back in the day, you could play with a paddle and then you get another paddle from another company. And they played so similarly because they were built so similarly. So you could get through the reviews a lot faster because, oh, well, this plays just like this, right? Oh, but it's cheaper or whatever. Now you really have to like spend time, a lot more time with each paddle and really like figure out the nuances. And so, yeah, the Matthew K Pickleball Challenge is going to get slower. But I did want to highlight this one, which is being really talked about. This is from BodyHelix. I believe it's called the TerraCoreXC, and this is their take on full foam cores, but they wanted to make one that was like a lighter static weight. And so this is actually 4 layers of carbon fiber with a fiberglass center reinforcement little plate, kind of like the True Foams, which is different than Honolulu's notch foam, because the Honolulu's notch foam, their fiberglass is the whole face. But instead of like holes like the Carbon True Foam, they're doing perforations. And yeah, this paddle is impressing a lot of folks. I just got it, but it's supposed to be a Canon. Like, so I don't know, Wilson, between having the J2 FC Plus in one hand and the TerraCoreXC in the other, like, whoo, you better wear your eye protection, Wilson, because
I always do with you.
Because I don't hit high typically, but I don't know, I don't usually have power paddles, so we'll see how that goes. But I'm excited. And then I had 2 other to mention, and then I promise I'll stop talking about the paddles. But there's this company that I've been trying to get on the channel for a long time. I've just messed up and like haven't. It's called Element 6, and it's a smaller company, Element 6 E6. Their previous power paddle was called the Fuego. I believe that's how you say that. And this is supposed to be very powerful. It's also freaking gritty.
Ooh. Very
gritty paddle. And so I'm going to be hitting with this one. But they have a new paddle, their new power paddle called the SURTR, or I have no idea. It's spelled SURTR. And that paddle is getting a lot of buzz. It's foam with carbon fiber stringers, or that is how John Q described it, stringers. But kind of what we've seen with some gearboxes with the ripples. But it's got rings of foam, and it's supposed to hit hard. So I'm a little scared, like, all this might lead to us all having power paddles, so we'll see what it's like. I do appreciate that the foam cores seem a little easier to control compared to, like, the old Matiers and stuff. So we'll see. Oh, and at Element 6, promo code Matthew K does work for them, and they are doing early orders for that crazy power paddle, the SURTR, and I'm trying to get one to cover on the channel a bit more. But Wilson, I'm not leaving you in the lurch. I know you need a little power assist. I know you're trying to become a banger. I know, I see it when we play together. And so I got you from our friends over at Pakle.
Ooh.
If you haven't checked out our podcast on Pakle, I think this company is on the rise. I think they could become a big player. Check it out. There is a giveaway going on. But this is Pakle's EVO01. EVO01. number one.
Nice. It looks
Now
pretty. I love
this,
the design.
oh
The
yeah,
simplicity. It's simple.
yes. I don't believe it's USAP approved just yet,
Mm.
but they, as we talked about on the Packle podcast, they like have experimented with other next gen tech. This is what they landed on. And I'll just tell you what they call it. It's their Vortex Core. You gotta love a good name for a core. TerraCore, Vortex Core, like Hyperloop Core. Who knows what we got? But Vortex Core, and it features what they're describing as an all new non-EVA elastic material. So I don't know if that is what we've been seeing in other foam paddles, because those aren't EVA. I'm not sure. But one thing that I did want to note that they do have on their website, they're using 45-degree orientation on the carbon fiber. And so that's something I highlighted in my Franklin C45 review as something very unique and that I really appreciate, especially for these more firepower oriented paddles. I do think it helps add some helps you manipulate
Control?
the ball.
Manipulate?
Yeah, well, I'll say
Yeah.
spin. Yeah,
Grip?
it helps you manipulate the ball, which I think for some of these paddles loaded with so much firepower is really nice, and I think more companies should look at it. And so, Wilson, cores are getting weird. Do you think we're ready for it? Do you think it's the end of honeycomb? What do you think? I don't know. Like,
I think honeycomb has a place in the market space, but I do like having the options that you see now, right? Like you said previously, like a long time ago, last year, you could say, like you said, you would. I mean, it's tougher on you, like on paddle reviewers in general, but back then you could say, oh, this paddle you would be playing with this paddle and then you would get a new paddle and you could say, oh, they play similar or it does not play like such and so, but you can relate the paddles and compare them. And now it's hard for you guys as reviewers, but as consumers myself, I like having the options. I can go demo paddles and I can find something that I like the feel of the power it generates or the plushness or how hard it feels. It's I think as a consumer it's a good time to be a pickleball consumer right now because of all the options. So I think it's a good thing.
good.
And yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, I'm excited. I hope the experimentation does yield with longer lasting, more durable paddles. But ultimately, like, I think we need these smaller companies to like step up, do the R&D, do the field testing, do the crazy USAP testing fees so there's some competition, because we like my dad's always asking about what paddle to get and all that, and it's just like and his friends where he plays are always like wanting, but their budget, they can't imagine a 200 plus paddle. And so
I still
I
can't.
think I know you can't. Yeah. And so yeah, I don't know, the older players out here in LA, they must have bigger retirement funds or something, because every time a new Yola comes out, like everyone has it. Like anyway, but yeah, I appreciate that, like these newer companies, now that some of the USAP stuff seems to be a little more settled, are finally like trying stuff. But I do hear a lot of frustration with that still from company owners. Like they'll have like units that fail and they have to like resubmit and all of that. And so, but yeah, I think it's a great thing. I personally hope polypropylene honeycomb doesn't get completely lost though, because I really like that feel. But how many people play with wood paddles anymore? So maybe it's destined for the dustbin. But on that note, I think it's time to shift gears, Mr. Wilson. Well, this has been a lot of stuff in a short amount of time. But you know what folks are ready for? They are ready for the tip of the week from Mr. Wilson, presented by BodhiPickleball. If you're looking for tungsten weight, if you're looking for overgrips, and I have to say, I've been trying out other brands' overgrips, and it is hard to beat Bodhi's overgrips in all reality, because a lot of the other brand, or a few of the other smaller brands' overgrips have an issue that early Bodhi Pickleball overgrips had, which is you do your wrap and the layers separate, and that drives me nuts because your grip overgrip's basically done. Like rewrapping that is, and Bodhi's. I think I remember maybe a long time ago they had that issue, but what they have now does not have that issue. And maybe I'm misremembering. Maybe they never had that issue. But Bodhi's, when you wrap that over grip, it's adhering. And you don't get the layers smudging and gapping, which I really appreciate. And now Bodhi, look at this. They've got some nice athletic apparel, nice colors, lots of options. And then, yeah, so check out Bodhi Pickleball. Promo code Matthew K will get you a discount over there. And now, Wilson, take it away. What is the tip of the week?
Yeah, so not the tip of the week, but regarding your issue with having grips slide around and stuff on the handle. One thing I like to remind people is that you need to add some tension as you
Oh, yeah.
are gripping. Some people are
Definitely.
just like are just like loosely wrapping it, and
For
it's just
sure.
gonna unwrap like a mummy. So
For
you
sure.
really
I'll tell you
stretch it a
100%,
little.
Wilson, that is not I've tested some grips. I've wrapped a few paddles, if you can believe it. And I do
Okay,
tight wraps.
good, good.
And I know what you're talking about, but what I'm talking about is you'll get a good wrap, but if there's like, and don't forget, I have a lot of pre-wrap. I have
Mm.
over grips under mine, and yeah, it's tight. It's
Okay,
tight when I
good,
start,
good,
but
good.
then it starts shifting, and
Hmm.
that's like huge pain. And Bodies don't do
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Yeah.
All right, guys.
Um,
Comment down below. Wilson's trying to call me out, telling me I don't know how to put on an overgrip. Tell Wilson, Matthew knows how to put on an overgrip. All right, okay, all right, all right. Now, now you can educate. Don't educate me on how to put on an overgrip, but I'm ready for the tip of the week, and that better not have been it, Wilson. I
no,
like,
no, no. Yeah, so my tip of the week is actually taken from a sport that I picked up recently, golf. You know, like I have enough time to just play pickleball. I go pick up another sport, golf, right? But one thing I've my brother has taught me is that in golf there's like a saying, and I don't know if I'm saying it right, but like the the club face drives the ball, and then the swing path curves the ball. So basically, in golf, wherever the club face is facing, that's the direction it will go. And the way you swing, whether it'll be a slice or you hook the ball, or if you're perfect and you hit it straight on, the swing path will spin the ball. So if you take that tip and put it into pickleball, it's basically the paddle face will direct the ball and the swing path will spin the ball. So some people I've noticed, especially in beginners, they'll try to hook the ball, or like they'll close. They think that they'll close the paddle face super close like the pros, and they're just whacking it straight into the net and stuff, or it'll just be flying high. And what I keep telling them is like, don't 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 copy exactly what pros do, because there's a reason why they're the pros. Um, so what you want to do is direct your face either perpendicular to the net and face it to where you want it, either down the line or cross court. But where your paddle face faces, that's where the ball's gonna go. It's nothing, no crazy science to it. Where it faces is where it'll go. And then you're gonna add your swing. Your swing path is gonna spin the ball. Either it'll be a slice, or if you go up and over your shoulder, that will be top spin. But one thing I noticed is that like when people are dinking and stuff, they're trying to, hook the ball, get some crazy angles that are honestly not possible. And like they always like it'll go straight into the net. And I like to remind them, just keep your paddle face facing where you want the ball to go and follow through. Um, and don't try to like yank the ball, curve the ball. Um, don't do none of that crazy stuff that you see some people do until you get to that level. But for the most part, focus. If the ball's not going where you want, make sure your paddle face is facing where you want to go, and follow through, and that will help automatically create the swing, the spin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I think I'll tag on to that a little bit for if there's a beginner that somehow made it to minute 50 of this podcast episode. If you're hearing what Wilson's saying and you're like, wow, that's some good advice, make sure you look up what continental grip is, because
There you
that's,
go.
yeah, I think that's really, as far as like pointing your paddle to where you want it to go, that's the easiest. I actually did a whole video on this little gadget here
There you go.
called the Grip Fixer, and this will help teach you that hand position. And to extend the golf analogy, if I ever play with you, I'm gonna just Happy Gilmore it and bring a hockey stick, and that'll be oversized continental for me.
For sure.
I like
Yeah.
that idea because they have with their choice of clubs or blades or whatever, you do have like the angle, the trajectory, like
Yeah.
launch angle is different. I never thought about golf like that, and I watched that whole Netflix series about golf.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is basically comparable to your paddle face angle, and you adjust your paddle face angle by your grip position. But yeah, if you want to sort of a more neutral where you're pointing your paddle, what Wilson was saying, to where you want to go, look up continental position. And that's like the most basic, it's the most neutral grip. And yeah, thank you, Wilson. All right.
Yeah.
Teaching us how to grip paddles and play better pickleball. I like it. Well, before we wrap up, I did want to highlight a few gear alerts, and then I think we'll wrap up. But Wilson, I got something for you.
Ooh.
Our friends over at PickleSkins have a little box. You're becoming quite the reviewer. We got a few different things
Look at
in
that.
here. Got a nice little paddle cover. They have really cool paddle covers. Replacement grips, some over grips, and what's cool about they have now PickleSkins has what they call the dry delight over grip, but they also have a grippy gherkin over grip. So you got a couple of choices. I guess they might have another style and a replacement grip. But what I love about PickleSkins is this little cute package. I don't know if you guys can see it. It looks like pickles, right? This ain't pickles. This is the absolute best paddle edge tape you can get on the market. I love this stuff. I always reserve this for like my most like precious paddles. I usually reserve the PickleSkins for edgeless paddles, like every gearbox paddle, every like my old like really expensive gearbox, like the Power PPE, like that's got PickleSkins on it because it wraps absolutely amazingly. It bubbles, the bubbles come out super great. And then they have this little dimple design reminiscent of PickleSkin. Yeah, we got yeah, they like their wordplay. But so that also like gives you it hides some bubbles, but also gives you a little bit more protection. Like if you do a grind on the concrete your first time wrapping a paddle, you know, you're not gonna destroy it because you got a little bit some bumps there. So Wilson, we're gonna have you check that stuff out. You're gonna report back to the pod because I just posted Instagram story of one of your course pickleball power reviews.
Oh yeah.
This guy's educating me on how to be a reviewer, everyone. So
No,
appreciate
no,
it, Wilson.
you're the master at that.
Oh, you're too nice. And then I don't think you have them on you, but FlickWeight is a new. They're kind of like Slice speed caps, where you're adding weight to the butt cap, weight to your handle, and so that's a way to change how your paddle feels without greatly affecting the swing weight. And to be honest, I think I'm going to test out FlickWeight on this one, this guy here, the one that I added the weight on the FC Plus, because I've actually gotten a little used to it now, but initially it felt just a little heavy in my hand because of how it's made, how I customized it. But I think this is the paddle I'm going to experiment with. And this pack here is their tungsten variety, and they've got different weights. I believe it's 6 grams, 15 grams, just different options. And then I know you have a couple packs of the lead one.
Yeah.
And so they have different options. And unlike the SlyceCap most people know, although they do have some new ones, Slice, that are a little easier to adjust. And I believe SlyceCap has something similar to this, but these just adhere to the butt cap. You don't need to remove your original cap and put anything else on. And so this, I would say, only do if you know why you're doing it. But it's also really easy to play around with. And I've talked quite a bit about this regarding my Invader setup in previous podcasts. Like, the benefit really would be if you're trying to bump up the swing weight, I feel, of like a paddle, and maybe you're adding weight to the head and you want to balance it out so you could still have fast hands. This would be something I would suggest trying on your butt cap. So I don't know if it's what it will do with the FC Plus setup, because that's not how I have it set up. But I think because it feels heavy in my hand, maybe I have one with a heavier swing weight out of the box. And my weight I added was to reduce pop. And so maybe it will feel more like a normal J2 with this addition. And so I'm going to experiment with that. And yes, Wilson, I owe you a pack of the tungsten. I owe you. I'll get it to you. I gave him 2 packs of the lead because Buffy, I don't want her. She's a snooper, and I try to keep lead out of the house. And I was like, all right, I'll give Wilson two packs of lead, and I'll keep the 2 tungsten. But no, you're gonna test the tungsten. You got, but the lead one is, I think, cheaper. It's supposed to adhere even better. I believe, and it comes in cool neon colors. So check those out. Promo code Matthew K works over there. And then I wanted to point this out. I've only got one of these, Wilson. I'm sorry.
Oh, no
but
worries.
This is the consumer version of the TriggerGrip, which we've talked about on the channel. And this is something I'm going to be testing. We've talked about it before, but it's basically a way to do flicks and just have a different control point on your paddle's handle. They say, it's actually written here, the TriggerGrip enhances power, accuracy, and stability while reducing wrist and elbow strain. Okay, I'll report back on that. And then it's designed for optimal hand positioning, ensures consistent shots, and supports proper technique. Perfect for players of all levels, doubles as a training aid to improve performance and minimize joint tension. And the thing that really sticks out to me in what they're saying, which really rings to what, or really speaks to what I think this would be good for, is is how it helps you with your hand positioning. Like the handles, like it's just a stick, right? With bevels to help you mark things. But if you're doing a lot of overgrips, those bevels can disappear. I like to highlight my outside bevels with a strip of gaff, or half a strip of gaff tape, to try and bring that up. But yeah, I'm excited. I really want feedback on my handle, and so this might give me some feedback. And you've already given me some tips because you were really testing out the prototype.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll see what Matthew K thinks about it. We'll see. And yeah, that's really. I got a few other fun things to talk about, but I think I'll save that for the next time. And so, Wilson, do you have anything else you want to share? Anything you're excited to be testing out? Anything you're excited to try out on the pickleball courts, or are you just chilling? Anything to say to the folks as we wrap up?
I'm excited to try that Pakle EVO01. That looks pretty exciting, and
Nice.
maybe a couple of your Honolulu paddles. They sound like they're pretty.
Oh,
Oh, and GRUVN. GRUVN's really interesting. I want to try theirs.
all right. All
But
right.
yeah, for anybody who missed out earlier, if they can, try to help out our friend Dwayne and their GoFundMe page. His story and his situation is there for you to read. So I don't want to have to repeat repeat it. Just go ahead and visit that GoFundMe and help him out if you can. And if not, please keep him in your thoughts and prayers.
Absolutely. So please check out the GoFundMe link for Dwayne. I'm leaving it down in the description. He's a great pickleball player, a great friend of us, and he actually listens to the pod. So that's, that's
That's a real
great.
friend
So
there.
yeah, that is a real friend. So Dwayne, we're thinking about you. Everyone, check that link out. Donate if you can. Please share his page, and then just last few reminders, we've got that Franklin giveaway going, the Pakle giveaway, Standout, Kiwi Labs, that podcast episode, a Yola Pro 4, and soon we'll be doing a J4K giveaway, hopefully a couple days after this pod is released, and then there will be a NextGen Honolulu paddle giveaway. So make sure you subscribe, hit that like button if you can, but more than anything, Wilson hopes, I hope, we both hope you get to pickle soon, and just don't forget, it's about having fun.